UFC Vegas 28 Rozenstruik versus Sakai just wrapped up a little bit ago. We're going to go through the full card, recap some of the predictions. Should be a pretty good time. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. And let's talk about the first fight of the night. All the way at the bottom, Jordan Levitt versus Claudio Puelles. This was a wrong prediction here. I was going Jordan Levitt. I felt he was going to get it done. Claudio Puelles had the better game. Levitt kind of basic off his back. Didn't offer all that much as far as like explosiveness, scrambling, nothing really. Just kind of chose to stay down. The takedown defense wasn't really there. Claudio Puelles gets the win. Good for him. Jordan Levitt, we'll see what's next for him, but definitely put a serious halt to a potential hype train that I may have fell on a bit myself. But the next fight, Sean Woodson and Youssef Zalal. Honestly, this fight kind of could have gone either way. It was really competitive. I was glad to see Woodson get the W. I thought that he would win and using superior boxing from range, but I feel like Zalal clinched him up a lot. And honestly, that fight, decision-wise, close, extremely close. Could have gone the other way, so I could see how some people would be disappointed with that scorecard. But Sean Woodson gets the victory nonetheless. Moving forward, I think they got to take it slow with him, but I do think he is a pretty okay fighter. He doesn't have a ton of power. I think bulk up the frame and let's get this man at 155. I think if he can get a bit stronger, get some knockout power, the boxing skill set is there, but he needs more weight behind him. He's way too skinny. I don't think you can get to the top of MMA being that thin. The guys at the top are just physical specimens. So I think Woodson needs to incorporate some serious strength and conditioning, but still some potential there for the young 28-year-old fighter. Next one, Manon Fiorot versus Tabitha Ricci. It wasn't close, but you got to give Ricci some serious respect. This girl took the fight on short notice, stepping in up a weight class against a striking phenom. Manon Fiorot dominated her. It wasn't close. Stopped every takedown, pieced her up with the punches, with the side kicks, and then she gets the TKO standing. I mean, Ricci was good to go when they called it. It was a good stoppage. Good win for Manon Fiorot. Moving forward, don't overly rush her. Let's take our time and build this potential contender. Like, I think she maybe needs, 4 more fights till a title shot potentially looms. Maybe her next fight, she fights maybe Marina Moroz. They just rebook that. And I think she's maybe more ready for it after this win. She wins that fight. Now we could really step it up for her. On the other side, Tabitha Ricci at 115. I do think she'll be around still, though. Very young girl, but I don't think she's bad. She's got a decent skill set, and I think she can beat some of these girls at 115 towards the bottom end of the weight class. I definitely think she can find some success there. Manon Fiorot, though, moving forward as a flyweight potential contender on the rise, somebody to keep an eye on. And the prediction on that was kind of an expectable outcome for most of us here. We picked Manon Fiorot. This fight, I was disappointed because Mason Jones was destroying Alan Patrick, was putting on a great performance, and he gets robbed of victory. Yes, he did poke Alan Patrick in the eye. I agree, but at the end of the day, Patrick having the out, knowing it's going to be a no contest, to me, it's unfair. I think that they should have went to the scorecard. That first round was so dominant. Why not score it up to what we had seen even after the first 5 minutes? I don't know. It could be a potential way for guys to win fights easier if you do it that way, but maybe if it's a 10-8 round, we find a way around it. I don't know, because Mason Jones just was clearly on the way to winning, and obviously Alan Patrick knew that. Ends up bailing out of the fight. He did get poked in the eye, so he's allowed to call a no contest. Just disappointing there aren't other rules. I'm not blaming Alan Patrick at the end of the day, but I would like there to be some type of rule around it, because that was a clear 10-8 first round. Mason Jones doesn't get the win, but he got the win. He truly dominated that fight. Truly won it, in my opinion. So I'll count out that as a self-win there. Makwan Amirkhani, Kamuela Kirk. Kirk's grappling game was a lot better than I would say most of us expected. Came out and beat Makwan. I'm done, really having much faith in Makwan Amirkhani emerging. I think that he was always thought of as a guy that maybe could emerge. He's 32 now. I think potentially best days behind him. Going to be more of a gatekeeper type of fighter towards the back end of the weight class. And his fights are just not entertaining. He's a grinding style. He holds. He doesn't do anything entertaining. Kamuela Kirk on the other side looks for the victory, looks to make it a good fight. He's a solid striker. Kind of stands like Conor McGregor-esque, but in orthodox. I like what I see from Kirk. Amirkhani, I think call it like, I don't know. He'll still be around, obviously, but I think the hopes of this guy being any bit of a serious contender are zero at this point. He's going to be more of a back end guy. And just the style is not entertaining. At the end of the day, it's not an entertaining style. Kamuela Kirk on the other side, though, good amount of potential. We picked Amirkhani. He didn't come through, but at the end of the day, Kamuela Kirk turned out to be a pretty entertaining prospect in the featherweight division. Next fight, Muslim Salikhov and Francisco Trinaldo. Some big moments for Trinaldo in that third round, but first and second mostly controlled by Salikhov, and then in that third round, eye poke, and then Trinaldo went after him hard after he had poked him in the eye, and his eye was swelling shut. It was red. It was bloodied up. He was beaten pretty bad in the eye, was Muslim Salikhov. It was really the fingers. I mean, it swelled it too, so he did get hit with some big shots. Competitive but dominant performance for Muslim Salikhov. Outstrikes Trinaldo, hurts him a few times. Muslim Salikhov is a fun fighter in that welterweight division. How high can he take it at 36? Let's find out. He just beat up Francisco Trinaldo, who was on a 3-fight win streak, granted coming up from lightweight, was still a long-time staple in the division, has beaten some good guys, beat Paul Felder. Trinaldo's been around. Good win for Salikhov. Somebody bigger coming forward because he's on a nice roll now and he gets it done. And I did expect decision, and we ended up getting a decision in that fight for Muslim Salikhov with the victory. So good pick on that one. Next fight was Ilir Latifi and Tanner Boser. With Ilir Latifi, kind of grinding style, not all that entertaining. Boser had him badly hurt in that second round. He was complaining of an eye poke, but it looked more like the thumb hit the eye. And then Latifi goes down. It looks like Boser might end up getting the TKO, and then he doesn't. Latifi comes back to life. And then the fight, continues on, and a lot of ground control. That's mostly what's being done by Ilir Latifi. On top, laying, praying type control. Not really looking towards finishing, but lay, pray, ground control heavy style from Ilir Latifi. And Tanner Boser on the other side, striking-wise, was better, but Ilir Latifi at the end of the day, wrestling advantage. Used it, landed some takedowns. Decision was competitive. I don't know. It wasn't a great fight, and Latifi moves forward in the heavyweight division. How far can he take it? How long can he go? We'll see. Next fight, featured of these prelims, it was supposed to be, but it ended up actually being the first fight on the main card because we lost the Tom Breeze-Ahoyo fight. I guess Tom Breeze, I heard, had some type of medical issue. I was hearing from people in the live chat it was a panic attack. I don't know enough about it, but supposedly it's happened a couple other times. So that's not good. I mean, it's disappointing we didn't get to see that fight, but we did see Montana De La Rosa put it on Ariane Lipski. Lipski's nasty on the feet, but she just cannot stop the better wrestler's takedown. Montana De La Rosa gets on top. When there's a clear wrestling level difference, usually you want to bet the wrestler. The wrestler comes through for us. Big win in that matchup. She TKOs Ariane Lipski in the second round. Good performance. De La Rosa moving forward. Good amount of potential. She's already fought some good competition. I am excited for what De La Rosa has in store. She's definitely a girl that can maybe work her way to the top 15. She's got a good amount of experience at only 26. The sky is the limit at this point. For Lipski, striking-wise, fantastic. Jiu-jitsu, okay, but actual MMA grappling, not great. Needs a good amount of work. She needs to work on getting up to her feet. She needs to work on creating space. I mean, there's a lot of things to work on for Lipski, and it's going to take also some real wrestling training. She's going to have to work on her takedown defense because that's where it all starts. She has a hard time stopping takedowns of better wrestlers, so she really needs to go hard at it. Granted, De La Rosa, just a difficult matchup. Gets it done, moves forward. We'll see what's next for these girls, but overall was a good win for De La Rosa and a good pick as well. Next fight, Gregory Rodrigues and Dusko Todorovic. Todorovic showed a pretty good chin. It just shows you how hard Punale Soriano hits because he knocked out Dusko. Gregory Rodrigues, a powerful middleweight, could not put Dusko down, but he did hit him with some big strikes. It was a pretty competitive fight. I don't know what's going on with the UFC stats. They have Jairzinho Rozenstruik at 6'4", and they had Gregory Rodrigues at 6'3". 5'10". Tapology has it listed at 6'3". I have no idea how the UFC is doing these measurements. They seem way off, so I don't know what's going on there. Gregory Rodrigues, and Dusko Todorovic. Entertaining fight, back and forth fight, but mostly controlled by Gregory Rodrigues. Nasty right hands he was landing. I don't know how Dusko stood up. He does roll with the punches pretty well, but he's leaning back far and his hands are low, but he takes shots. He's got a decent chin, and Gregory Rodrigues hits pretty hard. Also showed some good grappling skills, nice takedowns, good prediction for the dog that came through. This was the real dog of the week. Latifi was another dog play, but this right here I would consider the true dog of the week here, and came through. It was a high confidence dog pick that got a unanimous decision. I did think knockout though, but no, we saw a decision. Dusko Todorovic's a fun prospect even with a loss, but Gregory Rodrigues is making a good step forward for his career. Had a tough loss to Jordan Williams, but since then he bounced back like nicely. 3 straight wins, 2 of the 3 by knockout. He comes into the UFC with a big win. I'm excited to see where Gregory Rodrigues takes it. I really am. Good fighter, very good fighter. Next fight was amazing. It looked like Santiago Ponzinibbio was on his way out. The first round, he's getting destroyed by low kicks. I picked Miguel Baeza to win the fight, and Ponzinibbio looked like he was about to get stopped in the first round, and Bigi Baeza said, wow, he's putting it on him. Something switched. Something changed. It's like he got it back all of a sudden. I don't know. It just seems like he found his fight again. In that second round, starts jabbing away, beating Miguel Baeza to the punch. Miguel Baeza is a damn good prospect, and Ponzinibbio beat him. It's not that Baeza wasn't that good. I think Baeza was. It's just Ponzinibbio is better. This guy's a real deal contender still. I think he showed. He's got to get some more matches in there. He's getting the ring rust off. I think he can make a run towards the upper echelon of this welterweight division. I always wanted to see it. 34 years of age. It's now or never. I think he's got another good maybe 18 months to 2 years left of real prime. Got to give him a big fight. And if I have to throw a fight out there off the top of my head, Robbie Lawler. Let's do Ponzinibbio Lawler. It's an excellent co-main event on a fight night card. It could maybe even be on a pay-per-view. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a great matchup. Who wouldn't want to see Santiago Ponzinibbio fight against Robbie Lawler? I feel like now is the time to make that fight potentially. I don't know. Rankings-wise, I think it'll potentially make sense. So we will see for Baeza. Keep him around. Give him a lighter fight. I promise you, Baeza is going to make a run again, and he can make his way up to maybe top 10. Like, I think he has at least top 10 skills. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for the 28-year-old. Still a ton of time to keep developing. Tough loss, but showed a good amount of heart. Was going for it. Back and forth fight. Fight of the night. Maybe one of the best fights of 2021, to be honest with you. Excellent action. Ponzinibbio for the win. Great performance on his end. Super impressive to see him back after all the adversity with his health that he'd faced. Roman Dolidze, Laureano Staropoli. This fight right here, matchup in the middleweight division, was a snooze fest. If you like back and forth fights, if you like entertainment, this was not the fight for you. By no means was this the fight for you. It consisted of Roman Dolidze clinching, holding, controlling Laureano Staropoli for pretty much 3 rounds. At the end of the day, I wasn't hating it because I knew that's what Dolidze would have to do to beat Laureano Staropoli, because Staropoli is better striker, faster, clearly had the advantage striking. That's why we saw Dolidze go towards so much grappling. And at the end, they get into it a bit. They're talking a little smack back and forth. Staropoli's obviously really frustrated that Dolidze just held him, but that's an effective technique. It's counted, and that's a victory. Dolidze gets a 30-27 win. Good prediction on that one as well. Good card so far as the predictions, but the fight, this was an absolute snoozer, especially after seeing one of the best fights of the year right prior. Dolidze, though, moves forward. Staropoli, 3-fight loss in a row, moving up a weight class. I don't know. Give him a striker. Let's give this guy a striker. He's entertaining on the feet. Stop giving him these grapplers. Dolidze, on the other hand, let's see how far he can take it. I don't know. I'm thinking he gets stopped before he hits that top 15. I don't know. I think some certain styles beat him. Like, there's guys out there that definitely will, that have the grappling capabilities. Yeah, co-main event. It looked as if Walt Harris might have Tybura out. Tybura hurt. He was hurt. He felt that shot, that straight punch. Walt Harris' straight left is incredible. It's one of the best punches, I would say, out of any heavyweight that they have. The thing is, he follows up way too fast and chaotic. He gasses out. He doesn't set up his shots. He lets adrenaline take over and just goes crazy. And we see it time again. He said he changed it. No, he didn't, because it's ingrained in him. He is an animal, and when he can finish you, he's at his best. But when he doesn't, you got him beat. And that's what Tybura did. Tybura gets on top. TKO in the first round. He didn't make it to the third. I predicted Tybura third round. I thought Walt Harris would be competitive for at least a round and a half, a round and maybe a fourth. No, not competitive at all. after like the first 2.5, 3 minutes. One big flurry from Walt Harris. He went for it, and that was it. Tybura gets on top after landing the takedown, ground and pound, puts him away. TKO victory for Marcin, who moves forward in this heavyweight division. I don't know, matchup-wise, do we do Curtis Blades versus Marcin Tybura? I guess so. I don't know. I'm just feeling like that might be it. We'll see what happens, but I think that could potentially be the fight for Marcin next, would be Curtis Blades. You got to throw him to the wolves, and Blades going to need a fight. If not, I don't know. You can maybe give him someone like an Augusto Sakai rematch. That's not going to sell. Honestly, Shamil Abdurrahimov rematch, that's not really going to sell, but maybe rankings-wise. But I prefer the Blades fight. For Walt Harris, give him Greg Hardy, and let's see who's got the better hands. Let's see if Greg Hardy can take out an explosive MMA striker. That's going to be Greg Hardy's true final test. The guy's not going to learn grappling. He's not going to be a great grappler. He's never going to beat a guy like Tybura. But maybe he can beat Walt Harris. Book that fight. I think that's a really fun matchup. Greg Hardy, Walt Harris. I want to see it really bad. So let's set that up because I think it's straight action. Next fight, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Augusto Sakai. Augusto Sakai knocked out first round. Jairzinho Rozenstruik and him had a really slow first round up until that final exchange. Up until Jairzinho Rozenstruik put Augusto Sakai to sleep, it was a lot of feeling out, a few shots landing back and forth, nothing crazy because it was an extremely technical fight, and they both knew big punches would do damage, especially Sakai knew if Rozenstruik hit him, he would hurt him. Rozenstruik closes the distance, cuts off the cage, comes at him, boom, unloads the hooks, puts him down. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a knockout artist. He hit him like right to the side of the head. Down goes Augusto Sakai. Some ground and pound. The ref stops it. Good stoppage. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a fun heavyweight to keep on the roster. I don't know necessarily if he's towards the upper echelon or the top, but he's, at least top 7, top 6. He's a fun guy to keep around, and I think very entertaining matchups coming. I don't know exactly who's next. I think I said Curtis Blades for Tybura, but now thinking about it, because this is on the spot, I'm feeling like maybe you do Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Curtis Blades potentially next. But you know what? We're going to pull up the UFC rankings for this. I have to pull them up here because I want to give you guys somebody that I feel has value. The main event gets a true proper pick for who should be next. At the top, Francis, so we're definitely not going with title shot. Marcin, 11. I don't think that he should be fighting back that far. He just beat Sakai at 9. Shamil Abdurrahimov, Chris Dawkins winner, potentially for Rozenstruik. I think I'd be down with that. If not, maybe really Curtis Blades for him, unless they want to do Tybura versus Blades. Or, you know what? Tybura maybe versus the Dawkins Abdurrahimov winner. Let's switch that, and then let's do Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Blades. I think that's a better way to do it. We'll see what the UFC ends up doing. On the other side, Augusto Sakai, disappointing loss. What's next for him? Honestly, the UFC will probably sacrifice Walt Harris. I could see Walt Harris versus Augusto Sakai made for the next fight, but I don't think that's a great matchup for, really, I don't know. Either guy could lose that fight, but I feel like Augusto Sakai really should beat him and probably would because of, I'm assuming, a more diverse ground game. I think Augusto Sakai's at least got some decent enough jiu-jitsu, enough to get on top of Walt Harris maybe, but I don't know if they end up making that fight. I think give Walt Harris Greg Hardy. Augusto Sakai, somebody towards the back end of the weight class, maybe Tom Aspinall on the rise. We'll see. We'll see what they do. The heavyweight division has exciting prospects. Aspinall is one of them. I definitely feel like Dawkins is one of them. Definitely some fun guys to keep an eye on at heavyweight. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, a fun top-end heavyweight that might be more of a gatekeeper, but if he fights Blades and he wins, he's in probably for a top contender fight. Overall, solid card. Really solid with the predictions as well for the 13 fights. 10-3 record. I guess technically 9-3-1 no contest, but I'm counting this one truly because Mason Jones was on the way to victory. So like a 10-3 predictions for the night. Solid stuff. Overall, great card. Had a lot of fun live streaming. Appreciate everybody tuning in to this video, the post-fight coverage. Thank you all so much. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. I will see you all in the next video.